Welcome to Paula Today. Many people wonder what it takes for someone to get to the top of their field and stay there. Because while every one of us has a dream or a vision of success, there will always be those who achieve it and those who will not. Today's guest, Chrystyn, was a successful ghostwriter for nearly 2 decades, writing the autobiographies of some of the most famous and infamous political and business leaders in the world. After becoming a very successful businesswoman and philanthropist herself, she pursued a quest to discover what are the common traits of people who become incredibly successful in their chosen fields. And while that is highly individualized, she shared the powerful information in her new book, The Secret to Life Transformation: How to Claim Your Destiny Now. I myself was honored to be one of the 12 people who shared our stories in this book, and I am so excited that she has honed in on the skills and brought the information which will empower you to walk out the success that God has engineered you for. Welcome with me, Julie, to our program today. Yes, Julie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You look beautiful, and I'm excited that you're here. It was such an honor to do this project with you.
I was delighted to have you. In fact, you were at the top of my list for a very long time. And you know, one of the things I can touch upon is we talk about various levels of success and what it takes to achieve, and committed people always stay the course. We have economic problems, personal problems, family challenges, and at the time you submitted your article, you were mourning the loss of your daughter to a brain tumor. And God knows you had every reason to back off and say, I need a little time out. But that, more than anything, exemplifies your true character and the kind of person you are and the commitment you have to those around you that you care and know about, and those you don't know about, but whose life you can affect. And that's the ultimate secret to success.
Julie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula.
I say that because I really want you to hear this, because Julie's not only interviewed myself, and I'm going to talk about that, but also people like Justice Clarence Thomas, David Foster, John Paul DeJoria, Robert Evans, Jackie Jakes, Dr. Patch Adams, we all watched the movie, Judge Watchler, myself, a host of others. These are great men and women of God, and you said something regarding myself that I think we probably all have in common, and that is to stay consistent, that life hands you unexpected things. There were chapters in my book that I never expected, but you don't quit, or you don't get to tell life, hey, stop, because something is falling apart in my personal life. Life keeps going. So how do you keep going in the midst of everything changing on the outside? And I think you're going to see that there's some very common things that successful people share and able to walk out and see that manifest in their life. Julie, why'd you write the book first off?
You know, the book is really a lifelong journey and process of my own. And there's an old saying, you teach that which you need to learn. And then I found myself in a most unusual career, unexpectedly. I was promoting my own book in 1994, and it resulted in a 3-year stalker nightmare. And so unintentionally, to help out a colleague, I began ghostwriting. And it turned into a very long career and some of the most extraordinary men and women across the planet. So I was able to see firsthand the difference between the haves and the have-nots. I come from no privilege of my own. I was born in the former communist state of Yugoslavia. I was granted political asylum in the United States when I was 8 years old. At 12, I was diagnosed with very severe scoliosis. It's a curvature of the spine. And we did a radical procedure that's no longer done. I spent a year in bed in a full body cast with a 50% chance of lower body paralysis. Life deals you amazing blow. We were living in South Chicago in a $100 a month apartment. And even though people say, but you were only 12, the spirit has no age.
Yes,
we often take away from people, we put them in categories and compartments, the shoulds and a lot of titles and labels. We get away from all labels first and foremost. And this is, by the way, a vital trait that every successful person in the world has. But that was a year to think, to first observe, what situation am I in? What is my environment? What is the state of my parents? What is the state of the people that we know? And I thought, oh my God, I'm not gonna get out of here. There's nobody in my world that's gonna take me out of my reality and give me a better life. So I had to map out my own course. But that said, fast forward, not only through my career and decades of observation of the difference between the people who succeed and don't succeed, in the efforts of this book, in about 3.5 years, more than 300 people all over the world, many states in the United States, from common jobs to extraordinary positions of power and wealth and privilege and authority. None of these people were born into it or had some magic wand waved. They had a vision for their life, and they figured out how to make that vision a reality, and that's the message that I wanted to share with everybody.
Ooh, Julie, you've said so much right now. I mean, here you are. You know, it's phenomenal because I'm soaking it in. I have the greatest amount of respect for you. By the way, Larry King has done the foreword. The introduction in here is phenomenal. You say there's a Bible verse that talks about the children of Israel, God's chosen people, wandering in a wilderness for 40 years that should have been an 11-day journey. And what Julie's saying to us, are you tired of wandering when God has a direct route for your success, and she's empowering you with the keys to that. You have told us that successful people rip the labels off their life. They don't become a product of their environment. You yourself were a victim to circumstance. You should have not succeeded, with a physical ailment, with a background, with poverty, with $100, living in Chicago, coming from Yugoslavia, etc. And yet you took the same principles that you write about these 12 great people, and you see success not only in your personal life, but you share theirs as well. We're going to help you get to that place if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Julie, what's the one common thread through all the 12 people that you see that you would say, this is the ingredient that is a common denominator?
Independent thinking. They do not permit anyone or anything to define who they are. They always know who they are. Can I give a current example that's not in the book but's happening today? You know, one of the things Oprah said, no matter how dire and devastating her circumstances seemed, she always knew she was a child of God. And that is what gave her the courage, the faith, the wisdom, and the strength to go forward. And it's very interesting that this week in Forbes magazine, of the most powerful and successful people in entertainment, they took Oprah off the #1 list and put Angelina Jolie on that list. Does anybody doubt that Oprah is not the most powerful woman and the most effectual human being on planet Earth? So Forbes may have tried to redefine her status, but she knows who she is, and we know who she is, and nobody can take your identity away from you. It's in their fruits.
I love it. I love it because